Hey guys, Chelsea again. So everyone's heard of the show Coast Guard Alaska, and a few of you may even heard of the new show Coast Guard Florida. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Coast Guard and how a few jobs are getting unrecognized and aren't getting the attention that they deserve, like Coast Guard Alaska and Coast Guard Florida. Those two shows are promoting the only job that the Coast Guard seems to get its image from, being a rescue swimmer or the crazy people that jump from the helicopters. When you see somebody in the Coast Guard, you automatically assume that they're one of the people that are jumping from helicopters in the Bering Sea, just saving people's lives. However, there are a few more jobs that are put together to actually accomplish the goals of saving people's lives. A few of the jobs I'm going to describe today. One job is called an operations specialist. I am an operations specialist 3rd class, which means I sit behind a desk all day long. It doesn't sound important, but really it is. Without me, none of the assets that the Coast Guard has out there that look for bodies, help people out, or do oil pollutions or anything else that the Coast Guard is known to do, I'm the one that sends them out. I'm also the one who monitors over 50 channels and frequencies of the radio for 12 hours a day. When I hear a mariner call out for help, call for assistance, screaming on fire, or just that they need information, I'm the one who immediately responds. I get all of the pertinent information, I pass that along to my supervisor and through the command, and then I dispatch the assets. You can think of an operations specialist as a 911 dispatch. When somebody calls into 911, they get all of the information and send help immediately. That's what I do for the Coast Guard. Without me, the crazy people jumping from the helicopters wouldn't even know that they have to go jump into the water to save people. However, the people that jump from the helicopters are only located at air stations, and air stations are only located at specific places in the United States. Which brings me to the next job in the Coast Guard that's just as important as the people jumping from the water and just as important as me. They are called BMs, or bosun's mates. Bosun's mates are located at stations that are sporadically located everywhere in the United States, as well as Hawaii, Peru, and Guam. The people that are bosun's mates are the ones who drive the boats and rescue people on the water from cutters, which are the big white boats, and they drive around in government vehicles along the land and on four-wheelers. They do mainly land and shallow water searches for people. That job consists of driving the boats, which people misunderstand the Coast Guard for driving boats as wasting government money on fuel for no reason, just waiting to ticket people or board them and catch them with illegal fish. But really, bosun's mates board all passenger and commercial vessels, assuring their gear on board is necessary for them to have a safe trip. For example, here in Oregon, where I am stationed, we have jetties that stick out along many places on the coast. The bosun's mates stand in the boats and guard these jetties sometimes when there are restrictions. When there's a restriction, they put out rules that people in certain size vessels can't go past them. When some people do, they may receive a ticket, they may get boarded and found that they have inadequate safety pieces on board their vessel, or they can just be escorted back over the bar if their boat is too small to come back. A few different types of boats that the BMs are responsible for are cutters, like I said, the big white ones, small boats, which range from a 25-footer to a 47-footer, and response boats, which we have a 33-foot response boat. The BMs are responsible for search and rescue cases, like I said, bodies, missing people, overdue vessels, vessels on fire, vessels that run aground, vessels that need a tow, vessels that are taking on water. They also assist in medically advising people who need help but don't want to be taken to a hospital. They can pass information to them if they need help on the water. And they also recover stranded people who happen to be in the water. The next job that I'm going to discuss is called a machinery technician. A machinery technician is also known as an MK. An MK is basically the engineer for the Coast Guard. They are very necessary in helping for SAR, which is search and rescue, because if a boat breaks down and has to go out and save somebody, the only person that can fix the boat is an MK, as well as for the helicopters that the crazy people jump off into the Bering Sea with. If any piece of any of our equipment breaks that we need to respond to a case, or people in the water, or anyone needing assistance on the water, an MK is the first person to contact to help fix the piece of equipment, as well as make sure the equipment will run adequately in times of need. MKs spend much of their time in the engine room on a cutter. Cutters, like I said, are the big white boats, which can be anywhere from an 86 foot, a 110, or a 378. The engine room is where the engines are kept and all pieces that the boat needs to propel and work properly. These places can exceed 120 degrees on a summer day, and there is little to no ventilation in these spaces. Their job is easily overlooked. People don't think that it's necessary to have these people working on our equipment all the time. And it is. Without them, like I said, there would be no one to help fix our equipment in cases where we need to help mariners on the water. MKs also assist with the bosun's mates when they're underway on the small boats, by helping to recover the people and also helping provide medical attention to those people on board the vessels that need assistance. When a boat is taking on water, the small boats that we have carry pumps on them, and we pass this pump, it's called a P6, pumps 6 gallons. We pass these pumps over to the boats, and an MK goes on board to the next vessel to assist with dewatering that vessel. BMs do this, but typically an MK does because it is machinery and they are machinery technicians. So, today we have discussed 3 jobs that are very pertinent and easily overlooked with the Coast Guard. I hope that today you've gathered that there are other jobs in the Coast Guard that are just as important as the people who are jumping from the helicopter saving lives. The image of the Coast Guard rests on what they see on TV, but I hope that you could pass the word on and share with people that the image of the Coast Guard should be people helping people on the water. Every job in the Coast Guard can be brought together for one common purpose, and that is to help save people when they need assistance on the water. All this information about rates, which are the jobs of the Coast Guard, can be found online at gocoastguard.com.